Recording in progress. Okay, so it's not officially summer yet until next week, but because I don't know, I've been feeling it. Very excited. It's been beautiful, and I thought today we'd start. Uh, we'd incorporate some movements and flows that have to do with the fire element, which has to do with the season of summer, the heart and pericardium channels that are part of the fire element. And it's going to be great. So, yeah. And basically, I mean, the premise of Qigong, right? The reason why it exists is that the ancient sages, eons ago, were observing nature and found that if they could somehow kind of emulate or harness the energy that was going on around them, things just seemed to flow, right? Animals don't get stressed about what the work is for tomorrow, right? They're very much in the moment and watching like the natural progression of the river coming down the mountain. There's sort of this like effortless synchronicity that happens around us, which is funny. Like I think we're the only species that like plucks ourselves out of that, and I think part of the wisdom of this medicine is that it is helping us kind of realign ourselves with the external environment and um, we'll say recalibrating our internal environment to that external environment, so that we end up feeling a little bit more in flow and connected, right? And tapped in. So we'll start with some breath work. One hand on the chest, one hand on the lower abdomen. And here are my feet. Let's just take a moment, starting to slow the breath down, letting the breath start at the lower abdomen and then rise like a wave up into the chest. And then exhaling the chest all the way back down. And using the breath to begin our class, tapping into our breath, being a little more in tune with how we are breathing, I think is a good first step in tapping back into that synchronicity. Just let the shoulders melt away from the ears. Starting to soften the area, especially in the heart center. So when we go through, we know that Qigong and acupuncture has a huge impact on the nervous system, right? But the nervous system, when the nervous system is relaxed, the cardiovascular system is relaxed. So by working with the nervous system, we're actually working with the heart center. We are increasing the strength of the cardiovascular system when things are at ease, right? We have more energy that's able to flow, more oxygen that the heart's able to pump out through the body. And let's start with spinal cord breathing. So we're going to open up the chest, inhale, arms come up by the head on the inhale, and then exhale, tuck the tailbone, and then curl the upper spine, tucking the chin down. And nice and slowly inhale and exhale. So of course, this is called spinal cord breathing. So we're working with opening up by flexing and extending the spine, helping to open up both the front and the back of the body. And on the inhale, if you notice, we're actually opening up the lungs and the heart center here. So we're stretching the musculature, right, that surrounds the lungs and the heart. So again, moving the spine, working with the spinal cord exercises is really so beneficial for the nervous system, right? It tells the nervous system that we're okay, that rhythmic pulsation is very soothing. So our stress levels go down, our heart beats stronger, gets a full dose of oxygen, right? Because the heart needs oxygen to pump, but it's also the heart itself that pumps blood through the body. So it is a source of energy for the body, but it also requires a source of oxygen to be able to do what it needs to do. So for the rest of this class, I invite you to really be heart centric. Just thinking about with each movement, right? We're relaxing, even in the initial part of class where we're doing more of the flexion, extension, and stretching, right? We're stretching so we're able to breathe better. Our hearts are able to beat more fully. And then let's exhale the arms down by your sides. Okay, so like anything, we want to kind of clear any stagnant energy, stress that's maybe lingering around in this area. So we'll go into clearing. So we start with the arms out to the sides and then turning from the hips and the waist. One arm goes in front, other in back, and then back to the center. Exhaling as we twist. So inhale to center, exhale, twist, inhale to the center, exhale to the twist. So even in this clearing exercise, yes, we're kind of clearing the nervous system, right? But if you think about the heart, we think about it as being located at the more towards the front of the body. But in Chinese medicine, we talk about the heart, especially there's points on the back that correlate to the heart functioning. So the area between the shoulder blades that for a lot of us gets a little bit tight, right? That restriction can actually impede circulation through this entire area of the lungs and the heart. So by relaxing the shoulders, clearing energy through the chest and also the back between the shoulders, we're freeing up some of that energy so that we're able to have a better circulation through the entire upper body. Think about releasing the shoulders visually, internal vision, right? Think about the space between the shoulder blades. It's relaxing, unwinding. And then let's start to slow down. So the heart meridian and the pericardium is the wrapper. Like it's an actual physical organ that it's enshrouds the heart. And we say it protects the heart. It's like the first line of defense. And both of those channels run from the heart down the inner arm into the heart channel goes into the pinky and the pericardium channel goes into the middle finger. So even when we're doing stretching, like we will do right now, so spreading the feathers, the palms are facing down, your arms are stretching away from the body, drop the shoulders away from the ears, and spreading the fingers, right? We are already stretching the meridian lines. And when we stretch, right, we're freeing up some of that space that tends to get bunchy so that more energy and more circulation can run from the center of the chest down the arms into the fingertips. So stretch the fingers apart from one another. Especially think about the energy going into the middle finger, right? And then we're going to tilt the head over to the left. And then inhale, let the head gently roll to the back of the shoulder. And you might already feel, right, a nice gentle stretch through the front of the right part of your chest. And then exhale, let your head roll towards the front of the shoulder. And then just back and forth. Inhaling as the head rolls back, and then exhale as the head rolls forward. And on the next exhale, let the head roll all the way forward, and then gently rolling over to the opposite side. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. They tend to creep up. We're going to creep them back down, an inchworm. And then inhale towards the back of the shoulder, looking up, and then exhale. The head just rolls gently. If you have any neck pain, you don't have to make this a big movement. Even just like a slight rotation is going to help free up some of the musculature around the front of the shoulder. So whatever feels good for you. The point is that we're stretching these lines, these physical muscles, right? Tendons and ligaments. Think about the physical structure. And if we're more relaxed, if they are opened up more, then circulation is better. Energy can flow more freely. And on the next exhale, again, let your head fall forward, let the arms drop down, and bring your head upright and just pause for a moment and close your eyes. Just feeling the sensations, what's happening in your arms. You might feel that increased tingling sensation. And now let's do a little bit of chi massage. So we'll start in the center of the chest, just knocking up and down the sternum. This is a great time to do some healing sounds. So the sound of the heart is H-A-A-A-A. It's a nice inhale through the nose. And then and then come to the front of the right shoulder. So we are going to run our hands down the center of the arm, inner arm, towards the fingertips, that heart and pericardium channel. And then from the fingertips coming out up the outside of the arm back to the shoulder. And then back to the center of the chest, and then over to the front of the left shoulder. And then let's travel down the inner arm, coming up the outer arm. And then come to the center of the chest, down to the solar plexus area, down to the lower abdomen, and let's come around to the back, the lumbar area. And then let's travel down the glutes, down the back of the legs, back of the knees, calves, and then let's come up the inside of the legs. And again. And one more time. And let's come right over the navel. And then release the arms and pause for a moment. Just noticing, being a little curious. Right. Oh yeah, what are you feeling? What sensations are you feeling? How are you feeling? How does your emotional center feel? While I peek at my notes. Okay. And I do want to do just a very gentle moving the body like a river. So feet wider apart, hands on your thighs. This probably also feels good. Just a gentle stretch of the inner legs and thighs. And then let's just start really slowly. And this time I'd like everyone to be a little more upright. Shifting the weight first from the lower body, and the head arrives last. So shifting the waist, the legs, waist, and then letting the body roll over so the head arrives last. And maybe even inhaling to one side and exhaling to the other. And you can go as slowly as you like, or you can play with what it feels like to pick up the pace, whatever you feel that you need today. I'm just here to give a little guidance. You can make it your own practice. But always remember there's the thread of relaxation throughout all of this, though. So letting the body be nice and loose, right? Gaining flexibility and strength and openness. And let's come to the center, palms together. Let's reconnect with the breath. So inhale, spreading the arms and looking up, and then exhale back to the center. And again, inhale, exhale back to center. And again, inhale. And exhale back to the center. All right, we're only doing that one time today because I do want to do a Dao Yin. We've done this before. This time, legs are close together, and we start by clasping the fingers together, except for the index fingers, which we're going to point like we're a big arrow. This is actually called arrow. So imagine that you're just making yourself into a nice arrow, really stretching. So pressing through the feet, stretching the fingers up through the space above you. Take a nice inhale, and then on the exhale, you're just going to bring the hands behind the head. So you're clasping your fingers behind the head, and then bending the knees pretty deeply, curling ourselves into a little tiny ball. And like a spring, we're going to inhale and then make that arrow posture again as we inhale and stretch. So on the inhale, we're stretching, and then exhale, bending the knees deeply. The elbows are coming closer together, and then further apart as we inhale and stretch. And then exhale. So we're stretching all of the meridian lines. This is a practice called Dao Yin. And we're stretching the meridian lines that correlate to the metal element, to the earth element. In this iteration, and now release the arms, and we're going to swan dive forward. You can either, if you don't want to bring your head all the way forward, you can bring your hands to your thighs and just sort of like hang forward. Otherwise, if you feel okay, you can bring your fingertips to the earth or keep them on your thighs and just let the crown of the head spill forward for a moment. So we're stretching the back of the legs, the urinary bladder channel. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. And then clasp the fingers, making a little basket with your hands, and then slowly roll up. And then we're going to bring this little basket all the way up, turning the palms so they're facing the ceiling and pressing up. Now we're going to go into raising the bubbling spring. So the first point on the kidney channel is in the sole of the foot, right where the ball of the foot meets the arch. And then we're going to come up to the balls of our feet, really stretching up through the fingertips. Nice inhale. And then exhale, the heels come down, keeping the arms stretched above. Right? And then we're just going to press up and then leaning slightly over to the left. So breathing, nice inhale and exhale, stretching the sides of the body through the rib cage, down to the hip. And then inhale to the center, and then exhale over to the right now. And then back up to the center. Now release the hands, and we're going to bring them just to about shoulder height. So again, we're stretching the heart and pericardium channel, but since we already did spreading the feathers while the wrists are flexed, let's turn so that the fingers are facing up, and press your fingers together to your thumb like you're making little bird beaks, and then flexing the wrist. So you're getting a stretch through the outer side of the arms, the outer forearms. And then just let the head tilt over to the left. So nice, slow inhales and exhales. And then let the head gently roll forward and then over to the opposite shoulder. And then exhale, the arms drop down. So that sequence stretches pretty much the entire body, the back of the body, the front of the body, the sides, even the arms. Okay, where are we? I think we need to go into our flows now so that we have enough time. So let's shake everything out first. You can even hold your arms up about shoulder height, really focusing on the heart and pericardium channels as we are shaking out all of the residual gunk. Even bring it overhead. And then down. And then start to slow down. Okay. So we're going to start with something we did a couple of weeks ago that I really enjoyed, and I got feedback from some of you that you really enjoyed it also. Pulling the gossamer thread. So we're going to go into, it's very similar to open the flow to the 6 directions, right? But we're going to be incorporating the gossamer thread. So the thread is, that there's energy all around us. Even think of gravity, right? Most of the things that are going on are invisible. Electromagnetism, gravity, our hearts, our emotions, our thoughts. There's like an infinite amount of this invisible energy, this energy around us we can tap into to help elevate and benefit our own energy. So pulling a gossamer thread is like pulling these little lines of therapeutic energy that's helping to elevate our internal environment. So we start with the arms nice and loose. And the gossamer thread, just as I'll go over this quickly before we start, is that we open the flow, but we start with touching the thumb to the index finger as we come up and pull in. And then as we push forward, the thumb and the middle finger touch, right? And before we pull back in, thumb and ring finger come in, and then thumb to pinky finger as we come out. And then all fingers touch as we come in and then down. So we'll go over that many times. So let's start again. I'm going to float the arms up. The thumb and index finger touch as we pull in. Now thumb to middle finger as we push forward. Thumb to ring finger as we inhale, pull in. And then thumb to pinky as we extend laterally. And then all fingers together, pulling into the center. Open the hands and then exhale down. So inhale, thumb and index finger. Exhale, middle finger. Inhale the ring finger. Exhale the pinky. And then all fingers pulling in to the center of the chest, releasing the hands, and then exhaling back down. Like you're integrating all of that into our cells. So we inhale again. Index finger. I won't say this the whole time, but just to get it firmly implanted into that muscle memory. Inhale the ring finger. Exhale the pinky. All fingers together as we inhale into the center. Opening the hands and then exhale. Index finger and thumb as we open and pull in. Exhale, thumb meets the middle finger. Then the ring finger. It's really good for the brain too. And then exhale the pinky. And then inhale. So I think you have it. We start with index finger. And then with each movement, we switch to the next finger in the sequence. Think about pulling in these threads, almost like a spider web. Pulling in these threads, this threads of this network, this invisible network that's all around us, this invisible primarily to the naked human eye. Of pulling in these threads of energy, pushing out, we're connecting ourselves to the environment around us, pulling in the energy that we need that's going to restore, renew, integrating and letting go, and relaxing into the flow. Let's bring everything in. Let's exhale into our chi ball for a moment. Just feeling the space between the hands, the palms facing one another. And from here, let's go into one of my favorites, also a flow for the fire element, the heart and pericardium, cloudy hands. So we'll start with embrace the tree, this posture. And let's first, you can shake out your arms for a moment if you need to. Let's work on the alignment. And we say alignment, right? Alignment. What does that mean? Yes, it means like organizing our body in a certain way, but we're actually aligning ourselves to gravity if you think about it. I mean, ultimately, because that's what's pulling us down and anchoring us into the earth is this invisible force, massive, massive invisible force that most of us probably don't think of on a day-to-day basis. But when we're aligning ourselves, it's aligning ourselves to this intense gravitational pull. And when we are in alignment, right, we're stacked on one vertebrae on top of the other, and our knees are over our ankles and hips are over our knees. We're leaking energy, and we're actually using this energy around us to make us stronger. So just close your eyes for a moment while we are in embrace the tree, and just try rocking back towards your heels and then towards your toes, and find where that center is for you. It's probably going to be a little bit more towards your heels, right? And then bring your chin slightly in. Right, so we're giving some space to the back of the neck, and then tucking the tailbone down slightly helps to relieve pressure in the lower back. But a lot of us, especially with text neck, our heads are um, forward, and that's putting a tremendous amount of strain on the neck and shoulders, right? Because gravity is constantly pulling us forward. So if we align ourselves, chin comes back in. Now we have all of this energy that we're preserving. Relax the shoulders. And from here, we're going to drop the right hand so it's facing the earth. So the top hand's facing your heart, bottom hand's facing the space below you. And let's shift the weight over to the left foot. Now turn from the waist over to the left. Now change the position of the hands. So now your right hand is facing your heart, left hand is facing the earth. Shift the weight to the back foot. Turn from the waist. And then change the position of the hands. The weight shift. Then turn the whole body from the waist. And then the hands change position. And then you start linking, right? So we're still starting with a little bit of that weight shift, but as that happens, I'm already starting to change the position of the hands and then turning. So there's a fluidity that's happening, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. And let's try, since the heart is on, it's slightly left of mid sternum. Let's inhale as we inhale over to the left, and then exhale in the opposite direction so that we're inhaling as we're turning towards the left where the heart is really mid, but slightly left of mid sternum. And then thinking of that top hand facing your heart, right? Really great for balancing emotions. Keeping the heart open and light. That fire element. And that lower hand, just imagine that it's tracing the surface of this pristine water. Then with 5-element theory, water keeps fire in check. It balances. We need both internal. We need that fire metabolic activity. But if there's too much fire, then we burn out. Our fluids become dry and there's this deficient heat left over, and that can cause irritability, impulsiveness, right? And that water element soothes and keeps the fire in check, just enough water. We don't want to put out the fire. We want it to be a burning at a sufficient level that we're feeling good, but not overly heated. So these two hands representing fire and water. Even doing a little cloudy hand qigong right before bed is really great. So it's helping to release emotional turbulence at the end of the night. If we're a little overheated, a little overstimulated, a little overactive, right? We're harnessing that imagery of that cool water that's helping to balance fire, and it's really great to help induce a really nice deep sleep at night. calming the mind, calming the emotional center, calming the nervous system. And let's come to the center into our chi ball again. Pausing here. And then let's drop the arms down and end with pulling down the skies. Inhale, the arms, big circle. And then palms face down as we exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. And one last time, it's inhale, bring the feet together. And exhale all the way down. One hand on top of the other, below the belly button. And let's pause here. And when you are ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you all for joining me. Always an honor. And I hope you all have a really great weekend. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you.